This week on Chuckload of Comics, we're talking comic book tattoos. We're live at the Villain Arts Tattoo Expo here in Chicago, Illinois. We're going on a field trip. Won't you join us? Man, this hurts. Right here on Chuckload of Comics. Hello and welcome to Chuckload of Comics. We're broadcasting live from the Villain Arts Tattoo Expo here in Chicago, Illinois. Shauna, pan the phone around and let them know that we're actually at a tattoo expo and we're not just sitting in front of a green screen at the house. We're actually here. We actually took a field trip. Are we back? All right, cool. We're at the Code of Conduct booth. Code of Conduct, Chicago's premier custom tattoo shop. I love Code of Conduct. If you've never been to fucking Code of Conduct, it's the kind of place you walk in, you don't see, it's not the kind of shop where you're gonna go in and you're gonna like flip through a book and pick out a tattoo you want. These are real artists at Code of Conduct. You're more likely to see a guy holding a paintbrush in front of an easel than you are holding a tattoo machine. Speaking of artists at Code of Conduct, I'm standing here next to one of the premier comic book artists in the city of Chicago, Mr. Rafael Corona. How's it going, Ralph?
Oh, it's going very well, Charles. How are you?
We've been at this for a while. We've been here kind of all day hanging out with Ralph. Ralph did like a 5-hour tattoo session on me a little bit earlier. Was that as good for you as it was for me?
It was. It's always a great time with Charles. Every time.
I'm over here, Ralph.
Yeah, let's go this way.
So the big question on everybody's mind, Ralph, is where's the Soul Stone and who's going to die in Avengers Infinity War?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Thanos has it, man. If not, I don't even think the Soul Stone exists. I think...
What? Sorry, that was a little loud. I didn't mean to scream in your ear. I mean, what?
It's got to be out there somewhere. It's got to be. I don't know. I'm really just kind of like, I don't know. I want to be surprised, and I feel it's going to be a good one, you know? They've showed all of them. I'm really excited to see where the next one's going to come out of.
So who's going to die, Captain America or Iron Man?
I hope they all die. You know, they have the time stone, so...
Hope they all die? They have another movie coming out.
They have the time stone. They can go back and repair all the damage. So I feel like they're going to have fun with it. Why not? If you have a time machine, you can go back in time.
That's a good point. Doc Brown could not have said it better. So on to tattooing comic book stuff. Ralph, no one will argue. If you want a tattoo of a comic book character and you live in the city of Chicago, there's only one guy to come to, and that guy is standing right next to me. That guy is you. Right, exactly. That I take your silence as agreement. So a couple of questions for you, Ralph.
Sure.
Our fans want to know.
When you want to know, Charles?
So when you were kind of coming up and learning how to draw, and that sort of thing, did comic books influence you at all in the way you learned to draw, like what you started to draw when you were a young kid?
Okay. No, not really. I didn't really read comic books until about my early 20s. But what really wanted me to draw was watching like the animated series. Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man, you know, all that stuff was awesome. And so, you know, a lot of that stuff was influenced by either Jack Kirby or Jim Lee, you know, and it was all original content out of Stan Lee's, you know, original stories, man. And that's what really got me, you know, the original uniforms and you know, the thick lines, the bright colors, that's what really got me to want to draw like that. And everything comic book related thus far has been based on those things, you know, Jack Kirby, Jim Lee, all that stuff. And that's what really got me to be inspired by comics.
So when you were a kid, did you like have a little Trapper Keeper or a folder full of like pictures of Jack Kirby's Thor and...
Actually, I don't know if you remember, but they used to have these Flair cards, right? It was like the 92, 95 Flair cards, and there were collectibles. There was
hell yeah!
Holograms, collector's items. Like I do have a, what did he call them? A Trapper Keeper full of these cards. I think they're great. I have a small collection, but that's what really had me grip on Marvel, you know? Yeah. Mostly Marvel, no DC, anything. Not to knock DC, but I just grew up more on Marvel than anything.
So did I. So when you first started getting into tattooing, did that love of comics transfer into your tattooing style at all? Or did you go, when you were learning how to tattoo, did it just kind of evolve as its own separate thing, like drawing roses and shit like that?
It absolutely influenced it because at first, I was only drawing tattoo stuff, bulldogs, anchors, roses, like you said, everything traditional. But it kind of bored me, and to keep me interested in the field, I started to draw stuff that got me as a child, all comic book related, all animated series related, and so that's why I kind of do it today, to keep my, myself happy, to keep that clientele coming in. I like drawing comics. I like doing that stuff,
You've drawn some of the sickest comic book tattoos that we've ever seen. You don't just do tattoos. I mean, you also do custom variant covers. You do art pieces, commissions for stuff like that.
I do.
So when you start out on a comic book piece, be it a tattoo or a commission piece for a client, do you reference other comic book creators? Is there one particular creator you go to, or do you Google?
Michael Turner, absolutely. Rest in peace. Jim Lee, Jack Kirby as well. All those classic thick line, bright color, detail to anatomy, beautiful stuff. So I try to reference all my tattoos on that, sculpting lines, the bright colors. It's just awesome work. Look it up yourself. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, Michael Turner. Tony, this shout out to you, man. I got a friend who's a massive Michael Turner fan. Last question before we get into the trivia round, which you probably had no idea this was coming. So are there any characters that you've always wanted to tattoo but you never really had the opportunity to? Nobody's ever walked in the store and said, will you do what?
Honestly, I really have been wanting to do a Thanos. I've never done the Mad Titan. I did a small little flash piece, but it was really small and simple. Nothing too detailed, but I've always wanted to get like the cracks in his chin, the red bright eyes, the gold, the blue, maybe even just the gauntlet, anything Thanos related, like the contrasting colors in them are just beautiful. The detail, I just love it. The Mad Titan himself.
So you heard it here first, folks. Ralph needs to do a Thanos. Get on down to Code of Conduct Tattoos and get your Thanos tattoo from Mr. Rafael Corona. Ralph, right before we go, you know your comic book stuff, right? You're a comic book guy. You know everything about comics. You know everything about Star Wars.
That's correct, Chuck.
Okay. So you should be able to get these 5 trivia questions without any problem, right? There should be no problem. You nailing every single one of these questions.
Yeah, sure.
Five big ones. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
It's time for the Chuckload of Comics Trivia Challenge with Mr. Rafael Corona. Question number 1.
Shoot.
In the first Iron Man movie, what specific color does Tony tell Jarvis to paint his Iron Man suit?
Oh, man. Hot Rod Red.
Hot Rod Red is correct. That's 1. Question number 2.
That's right.
You said earlier you said you said earlier you weren't a big DC fan. Well, this next question is very DC related.
Sure.
Which DC superhero
Batman.
lost his father
Did I get it?
at an early age in a plane crash?
That's Oliver Queen. How is it not Oliver Queen?
No,
Did he not end up on that island? All right, it's not Oliver Queen. A plane crash? What are you even talking about, Charles? DC character?
we were looking for Hal Jordan, Green Lantern,
Was it Hal Jordan?
because he went on to become a fighter pilot. And
I don't, DC, I can't.
you got 1 though. You got 1. That's good.
1 out of 2, I'm 50-50.
All right, next question
I'm failing.
is a Marvel question. There's no reason why you shouldn't get this.
This one.
Who killed Professor Charles? Who killed Professor Charles Xavier in the comic event Avengers vs. X-Men?
Oh, no.
Killed Charles Xavier.
I don't know. I'm going to have to pass. I would have to, let's take a stab at it. The Vision.
No, we were looking for Cyclops. Cyclops.
Killed Professor X?
Well, he was possessed by the Phoenix at the time. You should read it. Yeah, Avengers vs. X-Men is fantastic. Question number 4. You know Star Wars like the back of your hand, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's correct, Chuck.
In Episode 4, A New Hope, where was Luke Skywalker, and don't look at my answers, where was Luke Skywalker originally headed to pick up some power converters?
Oh, he's headed to...
You got 1 already. Don't buckle under the pressure.
I think he just says he was going to head into town to pick up some power converters.
Ralph,
Did he not? Did he give a specific town?
he was heading into Tashi Station to pick up some power
What are
converters.
these, Charles?
All right, backup question. We'll pretend that one didn't exist. What does AT-AT stand for?
That's like your phone service. You get AT&T, right? Is that what we're talking about?
That is correct. AT-AT stands for AT&T. Question number 5.
I don't think I know.
I want to remind you, you've only got one right so far.
1 out of 4.
Okay, you got this one. We just watched this movie. Okay, what is the last activation word used by Helmut Zemo to activate the Winter Soldier in Captain America Civil War?
Oh my God.
The last word used to activate Zemo. You know the movie.
Oh my God.
You've seen the movie.
Freight car?
Freight car is correct!
All right.
Nailed it!
Hey, that's to audience member number 4. He's holding a sign that says freight car.
Well done, Mr. Corona. You got 2 out of 5, and that's not half bad. So, Ralph, thanks for joining us, man. Keep on doing those kick-ass comic book tattoos. Where can people find you on social media and in physical person?
Oh, just find me on Instagram _Rafael Corona and watch me destroy terrible surveys again. It's all right. Well, the survey wasn't terrible. My answers were.
It was more of a trivia than a survey.
I would say so. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ralph, thanks for being here, man. Stick around. We're going to go live across the convention floor and talk to a guy who does American traditional style tattoos, but he only does Star Wars tattoos. So we're going Star Wars, American traditional, right up next. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you in just a minute. All right, guys, so we made it all the way across the convention floor. It's a massive convention here at Villain Arts in Chicago. We finally made our way to the Boundless Tattoo booth. Boundless has got a massive footprint here at the Villain Arts Tattoo Expo and Convention in Chicago.
Yeah.
So we're here with our good friend, Andy Sharik of Boundless Tattoos. And before we get into Andy, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and talk about Boundless for just half a second. Boundless, you guys are in Plainfield, Illinois?
We're in Plainfield. We opened up in May 2015. There's about like eight of artists and 1 APP piercer.
Yeah. I've been to your studio, as you know. It's a badass studio. Not only is it an amazing award-winning custom tattoo shop, but you have a comic book store right next door.
We are attached to one of the biggest graham cracker comics outside of the Loop.
It's a graham cracker? I didn't even notice.
It's the Graham Crackers distribution center.
All right, let's do a quick graham cracker commercial for all you people watching at home. Jim Lee is coming to Graham Cracker Comics in the Loop on April 4th, if you didn't already know that. Are you going to go to see Jim Lee?
Probably not.
Probably not, okay.
Probably not. Sorry.
All right, Andy, so you are kind of known. I apologize because I said earlier in an earlier interview that you only do Star Wars tattoos. That is not true. No. Andy does other things, damn it. But you certainly have a fondness for Star Wars, for the Star Wars tattoos.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that? Like, how did you kind of fall into doing Star Wars themed stuff?
I'm just a nerd, and I draw nerd things, and I attract other nerds to me. So that's pretty much it, though.
The really important question I want to ask you, though, is what did you think of The Last Jedi?
I loved it.
Me too!
I loved it.
It was great. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got the Last Jedi part out of the interview. So how long have you been doing Star Wars drawings, like even outside of the tattoo world? Have you always been doodling?
Yeah, Star Wars and Spider-Man and just, anime, Dragon Ball Z, I kind of grew up drawing all that stuff. And then when I started tattooing, Star Wars just kind of like came to me naturally. I saw a lot of The Force in the Flesh, which is an actual book of different Star Wars tattoos. I saw some of that. And I'm like, whoa, I can do that, but kind of with my own little flair to it. So.
What's your favorite Star Wars character to tattoo?
I mean, I love tattooing Darth Vader just from all the black he has in him. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough character to draw. I mean, especially in a tattoo because it is so much black. I mean, have you found that your Darth Vader skills have improved over the years?
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember doing my first one and it was like more blue than black. And then, up until the recent ones I've done where I just pour the biggest fucking cup of black I got and just go to town.
Put the black in there. So your style is probably most easily described as American traditional. Like, well, what, as a tattooer, what do you think, what defines a good American traditional style tattoo?
I would say it's a little more illustrative, but yeah. A good American traditional tattoo is 1 line weight, 1/3 black, 1/3 color, 1/3 skin.
Oh, that's a lot of thirds. How many? That's like too many thirds.
1/3 black, 1/3 color, 1/3 skin.
And 1/3 practice.
2/8 practice.
That all fits. That all fits. My math checks out. So is there a character, a Star Wars character that you've ever always wanted to do, but no one's ever walked into the store and asked you to do it? Is there? What's the white whale of Star Wars tattoos for Andy Sharik?
I've never done an Ewok.
You've never done an Ewok?
I've always wanted to do an Ewok.
What's your Ewok? Is he gonna have like a spear and?
Probably like, with like a stormtrooper head on like a pike or something, something tough, not a cuddly, cute, or maybe make him cuddly and cute and covered in blood, or I don't know.
Straight up just war-ravaged little monkey bear.
Apocalypse Now, Ewok.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Before we wrap this up, you know a lot about Star Wars. You know a ton about comic books. You know everything there is to know about everything, right?
Yes.
Why don't we enter Andy Sharik into the Chuckload of Comics Trivia Challenge? 5 questions about comics, Star Wars, and movies. Are you ready? Don't feel bad, Ralph. We love you, Ralph. Ralph only got 2 correct. So you got to do better than 2. 2 out of 5. You ready?
Yeah.
Question number 1. In the first Iron Man movie, what specific color does Tony Stark tell Jarvis to paint his suit? Looking for a specific shade of red.
Hot Rod Red.
Hot Rod Red is correct.
Hot Rod Red.
You are on fire, sir. That is 1 for 5. Here we go. You only got 1 more to beat your previous interviewer. Don't look at my answers. You're a DC guy. I've seen your collection of DC trades. Which DC superhero lost his father at an early age in a plane crash? Plane crash.
Green Lantern.
Fucking Green Lantern, 2 for 2. Hal Jordan. Wow, you're crushing it.
Tragic.
We hate to bring it so sad so early in the interview. All right. Question number 3. In the category of Marvel, who killed Professor Charles Xavier in the comic events Avengers vs. X-Men? If you don't know comics, Xavier's died a couple of times.
He has. Man, I don't know.
Wager a guess. Shot in the dark.
It's just total shot in the dark. Avengers vs. X-Men. Captain America.
Captain America, no. We're looking for Cyclops. Scott Summers. Uh-oh. You still got 2 now.
I hate Cyclops.
Everybody hates Cyclops but me. I love Cyclops. He gets a bad rep.
He's whiny.
I don't like the way they handled him in the movies. They made him a little too much of a sissy.
Fair enough.
Comics, he's a little bit more of a badass, but not to get too sidetracked. This is your wheelhouse here, Andy. This is you. This is a Star Wars question.
If I fuck up, it's bad.
There's no excuse. In A New Hope, Episode 4, where was Luke Skywalker headed to pick up some power converters? Nobody gets this one. Think back. He's got nothing, ladies and gentlemen.
The scrapyard? I don't know. Marketplace?
Nice try. We were looking for Tashi Station.
Yeah.
I was gonna head into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. Okay, you got 2. If you're gonna beat Rafael Corona, you gotta get this last one.
Okay.
Have you seen Captain America: Civil War?
Yes.
How many times?
3, 4.
4 times. Okay, then you've seen this next question 100 times. What's the last activation word used by Baron Zemo to activate the Winter Soldier? There's like a bunch of words that he reads out of a Russian book. What's the last word?
Freight.
Fucking freight car, he got it! The win! He got the win! Well done, sir. You're officially the smartest nerd at the Chicago Tattoo Expo Villain Arts Convention. Thanks for being here, man. Where can people find you on social media? And
You can follow me on Instagram at Andy is a Shark, and then follow our shop at Boundless Tattoo Co. So it's Boundless Tattoo Co. on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I'm Andy is a Shark on Instagram.
well, if you're ever in Plainfield, Illinois, cruise over to Boundless Tattoo, see our friend Andy, get yourself a badass American traditional style Star Wars tattoo. That's a mouthful. And that's it, man. Thanks a lot for being here. Congratulations on winning the trivia challenge. See you later, man.